So things are not going really well for the main character. At least everyone's kind of listening to him. They keep accusing him and won't let him finish his stories before they're putting out their own judgment and hatred towards him. But like, they're at least listening to him tell the story. So the SAC judges arrive and they're there to capture the main character, and they have also more evidence and crimes against the main character. Supposedly he slaughtered a bunch of people from the brothel he was from, and the fire that was caused by him, that he is not the real nephew of his aunt and uncle and not the real cousin of his cousin, and that he did a horrible vile thing to a young girl and then killed her. Like, they're shoving those crimes on the main character, and everybody is just like, oh my god. And the main character's terrified this will go exactly like, because this crime was brought up in his past life, and his uncle turned against him in his past life. But in this life, his uncle is backing him up. He's like, I know my nephew. My nephew would never do these things. Because again, his uncle in his past life saw his behaviors and actions from his past life and believed the words in his past life because of the main character's behaviors and actions under the influence of the flower. But in this life, his uncle has seen his good deeds, has seen everything the main character has done for everybody, how the main character keeps trying to sacrifice himself for everybody, and knows his nephew could never do those things. And the main character is utterly surprised his uncle backed him up. He was so terrified it'd go exactly the same way. And it's not just his uncle who's backing him up, but the cousin's bio dad is also backing him up. Like, they're like, let him tell his story, to let him tell his version of the story. And he's like, I will tell the truth. So the main character tells his story. He tells how his mother was working in an entertainment house. Now, it's not those kind of entertainment house. It's not a brothel. They just sell music, dance, art. They tell stories. They sell drinks. They sell food. Basically, they're just for fun and not selling of bodies. They will, if they do not make enough money to pay their rent to the madam, they will have to sell their first night. But outside of that, no. No, they do not. Well, his mom worked in one of those houses. His dad was a lord from Best Girls Sack. He was a lord. He was one of the 9 lords. Well, unknown to the main character's mom, he was traveling and told her that he was some sort of traveling merchant. Lied to her. Didn't even tell her that he was actually already married. Wooed her, made her believe that he was going to take her away to marry her. But once he found out his actual wife was pregnant, he disappeared. And she was thrown out because she chose to keep her child. She chose to keep her kid. So she was thrown out. Her bestie is like, girl, if you need a place to come, I will take you in. This is basically her best friend. And so she leaves. She goes and hunts her man, finds out the truth. His wife finds out the truth. And our poor girl can't find work. She cannot find work because this girl, his stepmom, refuses to let the main character's mom find actual work. So the only work she can find are on the streets or selling music and dance. Like, she having to dance and sing to provide any food for her child. It is horrible. And like, the man, his bio dad, does not do anything to help her. He does it once, seeing how gentle and kind she is after everything she's been through, that she's still her gentle and kind self. But once he sees his own sack, he again drops them hard. He does give them some jewelry, but it does not help when there are restrictions put down that leaves even people with a little good in their life in starvation. So no one can, hand food off to, street performers. So they suffer. This is what leads to his mother's death. She's seeing that her child is to the brink of starvation, to death, that she finally stops being so stubborn that she goes back to her ex and begs him for money. Only his wife is there, and she makes a scene and literally beats the poor girl to death, basically to death. So she has to drag herself back to the main character. And the main character is utterly horrified for his mother, and she sooner or later dies. He goes to his father to beg help to bury his mother, only he finds out that his stepmother is herself, and his father treats him like he's the reason why both his ex-lover and his wife are dead. And yeah, he does. And so the main character literally had to bury his mom in a group burial thing where they dump a bunch of bodies together. Yeah, he has. And I felt so bad for Baby Bull. I felt so bad for him. Like, we already knew that facts by I think 6 or 7, but like, it was still sad. So the main character, he ends up leaving the town that, the best girl sack is nearby, leaves it to go back to his mom's old business. He arrives there, tells them who he is, who his mother was, and that he's looking for his mother's bestie. She's like, oh, okay, I'll help you get work here. And she helps him get work there as a servant boy, do the cooking, the cleaning stuff. And it's not great for him. It's not a great life, but the only goodness in his life is his mom's bestie who treats him well. She tries sneaking him food, providing for him as best as she can. She promises him once she gets enough money to buy herself off and get out of there, she will take him with her and she will raise him as her own, and they will live together happily. And he's excited for this. But the owner of the place, she knows this and does not want this to happen. So she tries to have her best employee, because again, the main character's mom's bestie is literally the best employee in the place, tries to have this girl, something horribly done to her. The main character sees this, rushes, saves her, fights off the guy, injures the guy, tells her to run for it, take her stuff and run for it. Don't even look back, he will stay back. And she's not happy about it. The madam of the house is furious. His life, which was not already great, becomes literally Cinderella. Like, the madam of the house's son puts him in a literal dog cage. A literal freaking dog cage. Like, it was horrible. Which makes everyone think, oh, this is why you burned the brothel, killed all those people, why you did all those things. It does not give you the excuse to do those things. And yeah, I agree with that. But like, at the same time, who wouldn't get snapped? But at the same time, the main character's like, I didn't do that. That's not the reason why I did it. And he has, like, his uncle and the cousin's bio dad stepping up for him and protecting him when the, judges are like, oh, we're going to kill you for admitting to all the horrible things you went through. Like, you deserve death for it. And they're like, okay, but like, shouldn't you go hunt down the people who did all those things to him? Shouldn't they be punished for the things they did to him? Like, they're still technically alive. What about his bio dad? Shouldn't you hunt him down and have him punished for his crimes? Like, his crimes led to 2 women's deaths. Like, you're not going to do anything about him?